And as much as we should be focusing on our physical health right now, CMU Student Council and Student Life faculty also want you to focus on your wellness. So today's episode is going to be about just that, wellness. And we've brought in everyone's favorite director of student life, Charlie Peronto, to join in our conversation. How's it going, Charlie?
I'm feeling good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Welcome here, Charlie. I have to ask real quick, does anybody ever call you Chuck?
Back in grade 7, it was very popular with some folks, but not for a long time.
Okay.
You are welcome to, though, if that's helpful for you, Daniel. If you had too many Charlies in your life, I can be the Chuck.
I don't, but I like the name Chuck. I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a great name. Great name.
What about Charles?
Charles, there is only one person in my life who's consistently called me Charles, and that is Wesley Taves, the old registrar at CMU, who has since retired. He is the only person who's ever called me Charles on a regular basis.
Interesting.
Not even my parents. I don't think my parents have ever called me Charles, and that's my name.
Man,
I don't think they know that.
Wesley calling you that checks out. That's incredible. I miss Wesley.
Fit. Yeah, it fit very well.
Yeah. That's great. Well, I guess to jump into the topics here. This episode's all about wellness, and in light of the Code Red and the actions that CMU has been taking and is taking to avoid, spread transmission at CMU. I mean, how do we define wellness? What can we do to focus on our wellness right now? I guess this is a kind of a general question for any of us to answer. What do we see as wellness what do you see as wellness for you? Chloe, how about you?
Oh, me first. Look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously I did the student thing, and when I had a question, I Googled it. And the go-to Google answer that I kind of found was health is a state of being, whereas wellness is the state of living a healthy lifestyle. So like wellness in terms of your day-to-day life, not dependent on like physical health. I don't know. It's a tough one. Like it's a word we throw around a lot.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for you, Charlie, how would you talk about your own wellness?
I think that's a great question. And the things that I'm doing for my own wellness is, one of the things that's really interesting is to protect our health. We're supposed to not interact with people, supposed to be alone, or only be with our household, stuff like that. So the things that I'm doing are saying like, all right, what are ways that I can extend my relationships to being with other people, even when we shouldn't be in person with them. And I know like Zoom fatigue is real and it's annoying at times and all of that stuff, but it is about, for me, being well is about trying to be intentional with my days and my time. In that, we've all had Saturdays when it's just like, I'm just going to relax today, and you watch Netflix all day. And then it feels like the day goes by like really long, but then at the end of the day, you're like, oh no, I did nothing. It's now 11 o'clock at night. And it feels like it was much, like a much shorter day than I wanted it to be. And I feel kind of bad about it, or I'm unaccomplished and I've been procrastinating. And so it's trying to be like intentional about giving me structured lazy time and productive time. So I try and like be intentional, and I find that gives me a lot of wellness. Is finding that. So like setting aside time. This is time to be lazy. This is time to be really proactive. This is time to spend going for walks and being physically active. And I think that gives me a lot of wellness, and that I'm not just surviving, but I'm actually doing okay.
Charlie, I want to see your calendar, and I just want to see the words like "be lazy," like just right on there.
If I showed you my Outlook calendar, that's all it is. Like lazy. 10 minutes of productivity, interview with Daniel and Chloe, lazy.
I feel that though. I mean, but that's one of the things for me is it's like, I have to let myself, because there are moments that like there's nothing to do sometimes. And you have to be like letting yourself be okay with feeling like at a loss, or feeling lazy, and not getting down on yourself too much about that. And also exactly what Charlie was saying is interspersing it with moments of productivity.
Yeah, I think you're totally right, Daniel. There is a difference between like laziness and restfulness. in that like sometimes like laziness is like good in short periods of time, you know, where you just like lay on the couch, you take a nap, or you just watch Netflix all the time, or like do those type of things. But there is a difference with like restfulness, and that like restfulness often can be pretty active, and that like there are things that you can do which to other people might seem like work or hard to do, but are actually really good for like your soul or your heart. You know, like it could be doing art, or for me, it's taking photos. You know, taking my dog for a walk, even when it's like raining or blizzarding. It's like, oh, like this might not seem like really fun at the initial like point of or like psyching yourself up to it, but when you're actually doing it, or it could be like maybe for you, it's calling your grandma on the phone.
Mm-mm.
Like there's not a lot of times where I'm like, ooh, I gotta call Grandma Mickey. Like this is gonna be like the highlight of my day. It's like, oh, I hope she doesn't hear this, but it's like, yeah, like I want to call Grandma. But then every time I do, I'm like, this was amazing. I should do this more often. You know, like there are certain things like that that actually are really good for us that take a little bit of activity that can be restful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So one of the questions I have from like your student life perspective is, has your definition of wellness and like promoting wellness changed at all with in the code red?
Sure. I mean, I think that the usual muscles that we flex for wellness at CMU is like when there's a problem or something that's wrong. What we do is we say, all right, we're going to get everyone together and we're going to talk about it. We're all going to cram into a room. We're going to sort this stuff out. We're either going to like do something really fun, or we're going to have like a serious conversation, something or some combination of those, where we're all going to get together. And those
Community time.
exactly. And like some people are like, you know, but it actually ends up being pretty good for most people. But we don't have some of those abilities right now to do it for everyone's safety and their health. But so some of those muscles like aren't there in how we usually respond when there's times of concern or things like that. So we've had to kind of embrace new ways. And so I think my definition of wellness has become much broader, including digital spaces, which, you know, like I'm fine with being called a Luddite in some areas, you know, and that like I'm not like super technologically forward in every ways, and find myself trying to retreat in certain areas, not being on social media, want to get run on my iPhone, get a dumb phone, you know, stuff like that. But I think that's kind of CMU's nature as well, that we aren't like the most like technologically forward school for intentional, purposeful reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I had asked you to around this time last year, like, okay, what year do you think CMU installs TVs in its classroom? Right? Like you would have gone like
Never.
2100, like never. And yet like we have all these TVs because it was like, if we want to do this, we want to create spaces that anyone can come to in-person classes, even if that means coming in through technology. So we are learning like new muscles now as an institution about how technology actually can help us be well in some areas. It's not the solution to everything. You know, it's not the be all and end all. So I think for us in student life, it's embracing technology as a way to promote wellness with our students that doesn't replace in person, but can work as kind of like a stopgap. It can work temporarily, at least for us. But I'm always really encouraged by people of your generation. I apologize. Don't want to label you with any sort of letters or anything that make you feel like you're in boxes.
I mean, if you're complimenting us about it, it's fine.
It is absolutely a compliment. You folks have developed skills to have relationships that are meaningful, deep, and just as important online as you do in person. That it is not like uncommon for you to be like, yeah, like I have just my online friends who are really meaningful, deep relationships that maybe are just as deep as your in-person ones. Now they have different like contours and textures and things like that to them, but you have skills that are far outreach even my generation as an old millennial. You know, as like someone who's 35, like you have skills that are even beyond ours, which is, so it's, you know, it's probably more of us needing to meet you folks where you are and actually do that than us having all of the solutions in a time like this.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that's a long answer. Did I hit what you were talking about?
I think so. I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point about online friends, because that was another thing that I was thinking about, is like this happened the first time everything kind of locked down, is that I, you know, moved to communicating and hanging out with everybody over the internet and I have some internet friends that I've known for a very long time, some friends from the States and stuff. So, you know, hearing different perspectives on what's going on around the world from different locations was pretty interesting, and it still is.
Yeah,
And it's good to have those relationships.
yeah, well, and hear that as like as a virtue for like a skill that like you folks have been innately trained to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like as digital natives or whatever sociological term we want to apply to you that does not give the full richness of your experience, blah, blah, blah. You folks have that as like a skill, as a virtue that other people don't. And we shouldn't be afraid of it. We shouldn't, like, we all should be challenged and empowered to think beyond what is, our natural state, or to think that we know exactly what the best way to do everything is all the time. So that's both for us as the older folks, but also for you as students to hear that. But that we are probably more susceptible to saying that your online relationships aren't as real as our in-person ones. Right? Where I think that, and so you should consider consider that like that there is like a virtue in some of the stuff that is natural to you that you might not hear from other people. But I want to say that we see this as really good things, and ways that we can encourage wellness for you.
Yeah.
And work with you.
Yeah. And it's definitely, it's something that I see the CMU staff and faculty really adopting, is that idea that there is virtue in online relationships and connecting online. And there's been a few new kind of like projects and programs that you guys have been cooking up over there in student life. Can you tell us a little bit more about those?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to tell you about them. And there's all to say is like, there are going to be more. As we are in code red, now, and looks like we're like Manitoba just announced a lockdown, a little bit more for probably about a month, that it's going to be really hard for us all to get together, even for in-person classes, till at least, December 10th. And that's okay. Like a temporary thing should be better for, the spread of COVID in our city and province. But like, so we've rolled out some things, and we're trying to work at it at a couple different levels. The first one is one that happened very naturally, is lots of professors right now are just opening up their Zoom rooms for 10, 15 minutes before to 10, 15 minutes after class, just to have informal conversations, just like you would have had if you would have showed up to class a few minutes early. Talk with your fellow students, talk with your faculty member. And I've heard lots of faculty members, and we're encouraging them to do that, but lots of them come to it by their own accord of just, creating that space in this, in that area. So that's one level that's happening. And then we're doing similar things in student life, in that we're trying to do a bunch of things digitally. We've moved to our community gatherings being online, and we've actually seen great participation in them. And we're going to be doing a few interesting things. So pay attention. Next week, we're going to have movie watching club with Charlie. You're going to get a movie assignment to watch beforehand. Then we're going to get together and have a conversation about it. It'll be easily accessible. And that, like, trying to say, like, all right, like, there are other ways that we can do some of this stuff. We'll be doing lunchtime drop-in, like, come, let's all have lunch together. Just bring your, like, Chloe, Daniel, you can sit in your house, but just bring your lunch and let's chat together. We're doing some games over, doing games over like Zoom and Scribbo and stuff like that. It's just like little ways, because it's we are a very serious campus at times, and that we consider the issues and want to engage our minds critically. It's really important to have fun together. That's actually really important. It's important to laugh together, to tell jokes, to do silly things. That's really important to have successful relationships. Mm-hmm. So we'll be doing those type of things throughout the next few weeks, and we'll be hopefully clearly communicating that to all the students, giving times and opportunities. And we would really encourage people to be intentional with their time, and to like put it in their calendar, hop into some of these things, because it's probably actually going to be wonderful. It's like, I think maybe you folks feel like this. I never felt like I would be running between Zoom meetings. But that's how I feel. Like that's like, oh no, like I got to run to the next one, which is clicking a link, sitting in the same place. But like I would encourage everyone, take the time, like do one of these things that is there, that it seems like is there only for social, because the things that like increase your social capabilities, your social friends, things like that, are actually going to make you much better in other places. Because if you're laughing with someone now, you're going to be able to probably have a better conversation with them in class later. You know, if you can laugh about something silly or talk about a movie, you'll probably be able to talk about, I don't know, some philosopher in a different class, or you know, an English project or a math thing, like, because you're developing different muscles in the different relationships that'll make you stronger in all of your academic pursuits as well.
Yeah, well, I'm really glad to hear that that there are these you know, extracurricular is not the term, but extra activities and get-togethers that are happening, and I'm really glad to hear that they're going well, and I'm not surprised either, because you know how much CMU loves to harp on about community, but it is true, right? At the end of the day, I think there's something that's undeniably there about how strong the community is, and I think that this is really proving it, and especially in how well I think CMU dealt with the first, well, trying to make CMU a safe place and succeeding at it. I think it was really, really impressive.
Yeah, I've also been super impressed with like the intentionality and like the creativity, like all these events that are coming up that you can do online, as well as something that I think is hilarious is the profs reading bedtime stories.
Oh, Chloe, I'm so glad you brought it up. This is one of our most creative ideas.
I love it.
I think from Sandra and Mackenzie, somebody else also. Oh yeah, like every night we're going to be releasing a new bedtime story that you'll be able to hear. They're going to read some of their favorite stories, and then I think we're also going to do like a vote, the best children's story at one point. You'll be able to vote, and then the winner of that bracket is that story will be read by our president, Cheryl Pauls.
There's a bracket?
Well, this is an idea of something that will be coming. You'll be hearing lots about, like, this is one of the things that we'll be doing. But we're looking at doing in a bracket of some assortment. So it's like we're still working out the details. But look, old classic Where the Wild Things Are might just be what you're hearing from your boy, Charlie Peronto.
Wow.
What a great choice.
That one, it might be coming. I can't make any promises. You'll have to pay attention every night when the stories get released.
Yeah, stay tuned, everyone, if you want to hear Charlie read a children's book.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And to be clear, it's not like the bracket is not between the professors and the readings. It's specifically the stories, right? It's not turning into a popularity contest. Okay.
Yes,
because as much as I'd like to see Kenton go head to head with Chris Hubner, and who can read a story better, I don't know how well that would end up going.
I think we all know Brian Fraze would run away with it. You know, I have no doubt it would be Brian or maybe Irma in that.
Oh,
you know,
Irma. Irma read us like a poem about a turkey on Thanksgiving. Like, she's a natural.
Oh yeah. So, like there are some people, but no, it'll be about the stories. It won't be like Sheila Clausen Weeb and In I Love You Forever versus Sue Sorensen and the Paper Bag Princess.
Although this sounds incredible too.
This sounds very entertaining.
That sounds like a great idea. Maybe we're looking at something different here. Maybe we're creating some magic here, but no, we'll be doing that. But there'll be other stories being released first before we get to the bracket part.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Love it. Dan, how do you feel about going into some of those Instagram answers and questions that we got?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Charlie, if you didn't know, on the Wittenberg Radio Instagram, we posted some questions and we got a lot of great answers. Like, people participated and I love them for it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So this is also an opportunity for us to participate too. But we're going to read some of these answers together. So the first question that we posted was, what are you struggling with most in Code Red? Yeah. Dan, you want to pop in an answer of your own here?
Yeah, sure. Well, I think it was, 2 days ago I had a class where right before the class started, we did a little check and it was like, what's one word that you're feeling about right now? And, you know, there's lots of different answers, but my go-to was restless. And like, I love to be outdoors and do things. And it was tough enough for me when soccer was canceled. But, you know, now that there's snow and stuff and I can't bike around and I can't really necessarily go for runs, it's, I just kind of feel cooped up. And so, you know, I'm trying to implement some structure and in my exercises and get my activity in other ways. But that's been probably the worst part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Chloe?
Ooh, I definitely also feel that restlessness with volleyball being canceled for now. Also, like, a lot of confusion. like where am I allowed to go, like what's the best choice I can make within like certain situations, and yeah, trying to keep up with the news and all the regulations, and things change every so often. So yeah, I would say confusion is my word. Yeah.
How about yourself, Chuck?
Woo, sounds good coming from you, Daniel. Yeah, I mean, for me, the code red is I don't get to see my colleagues as often. Many of us are working from home as well. Someone will always be there for students, in the office. I don't get to see my colleagues or you students as much, and that's some of the toughest part. Or we have to be more intentional about it. It's not just like, oh, like Chloe's walking by, I can just say hi as she's in the hallway, like that kind of stuff. And then for me, it's also the family stuff. I don't get to see my family as much. One of my family members here in the city is ill, so I haven't been able to see him for months, because he's immunocompromised. Also can't see his siblings, they're my nieces and nephews. And then my parents are in the States, so I haven't seen them in a long time. So those are the parts that are kind of, that are hard for me right now, because I really want to try my best to do my part to making Manitoba a safe place. Because most likely, like if I get COVID or something, I'll be fine. Most likely, it still could happen, but I don't want to give it to someone else who might not be. I want to do my part.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of those answers are actually echoed in the ones that we got on Instagram. So our good friend Ashton Reimer talked about like motivation, mourning the loss of social activities. Definitely feel that. Christina Dirksen, loneliness, missing my people, super valid. Joanna Leptison popped in there with a living alone and then a sad face emoji. And I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah. Lots of distancing from my friends, no friends. Yeah. And family. Yeah. A couple. Yeah.
But then we went into the question of how are you staying well right now? And I was blown away. Like, we're talking about the intentionality on campus here, but the intentionality with like a lot of our students is so wonderful.
It's true. Yeah.
Do you want to read some of these good ones?
Yeah, sure. Ashton Reimer, escapism through television and books, making lists for the day to feel accomplished, which, that's kind of what you were talking about right at the start was, having the ability to be productive, but also having those moments of laziness or restfulness. Eli says, drinking many cups of coffee every day, which is interesting. I don't know if I could do that. That would maybe push me over the edge, but if it works, it works.
If it works for Eli, it works for Eli.
Yeah. Christina says taking time each day to read the Bible and spend time with Jesus. I mean, I can't directly relate to that, but I feel it. Emily says that she's not, but she's trying to enjoy the little things that make her happy, like making matcha and coffee.
It's the effort. One that I want to talk about that I have been vibing with is, okay, and I don't want this to come across the wrong way, but caring less about grades. Joanna popped this in here. And honestly, I found that what I'm getting my academic satisfaction from is just handing in assignments. Like I get something done and I hand it in and I'm like, Chloe, you did it. I check it off my list and I'm just like thrilled about it. It's not even getting them back. It's handing them in.
Man, that's how I usually go through school, Chloe. I don't know. That's just normal.
Oh, it's different. It's different for me. Charlie, what would you say is how are you staying well right now? Like, what are your go-tos? I think we talked about it a little at the beginning, but.
Sure. Some of my go-tos are making sure I am going outside. Like going outside, like making it like a point every day that like, oh, like I'm going to go outside. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to like talk to my partner. And then I'm going to make time to see some of my friends, like digitally. So, which is not the usual way we like to do stuff. We have really close friends that we usually would hang out twice a week, would be really normal for us to see some of our friends and being like, okay, like we don't usually FaceTime together, but we're going to do this, like, and like organizing it, doing things like that. And then also paying attention to what are the other areas of my life that like get nurtured by like friends or things like that I need to be more intentional about. So, learning things, continuing to read, doing things like puzzles that are good for my brain. And then, like spending time doing my favorite thing, like watching movies, things like that. That's some of my favorite things. So I have to make sure to do those things as well.
I love it.
Yeah. How are you staying well, Chloe?
Oh, how's Chloe staying well? I found that working out and keeping my body moving has been super important. I'm really grateful to be part of the women's volleyball team here, and Jamie Menzies, our coach, wonderful, wonderful woman, has been sending us little programs to do that don't involve like a bunch of equipment, things that we can just do in our home. And so, texting in my little happy like I did it to her weekly is definitely something that I'm really grateful for right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can echo that a lot, and that's the thing that's echoed in a lot of our question responses too. So we got Miriam, Natasha, Mariel, Cassidy all saying the same kind of thing.
Yeah, they all like to run. Mariel likes to run her butt off.
It's true. Yeah.
Also, honorable mention, we got a response from the CMU Blazers Instagram account to this question, and all it said was pizza pops.
Ooh.
I love Russ. Man, I love Russ.
Thank you so much, Russell.
He's the man.
It's so good. Yeah.
Man,
awesome. Yeah. Not to segue, but man, Pizza Pop's Twitter page is wild.
What?
They responded to a tweet of mine like 3 years ago, and it's just the weirdest thing. If you have a chance, check it out. It'll make your day better.
Wow, Pizza Pops. Okay, so students, this could be your future. Digital brand management. You could be Pizza Pop's Twitter persona.
That is the only reason I'm here in the communications and media program.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking that this is also a great opportunity for the commuter council to be like, oh, Pizza Pops can start offering Pizza Pops in the commuter lounges, like post-COVID.
Are we trying to get a brand deal with Pizza Pops right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying that I already have a connection with their response to my tweet. So
I can see it. I can see their branding up in the Lowen Athletic Center. It's just a giant Pizza Pop cutout, up there. I can see it on our jerseys.
Yeah, no longer bananas coming to the sports games, but now it's Pizza Pops.
Yeah.
I think Pizza Pops represent a lot of what CMU stands for.
Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. There's not a better product out there that embolizes our values here.
Where is this conversation going?
So Chloe, and Daniel, if you were to be the digital brand manager, social media for one product of it, what would it be?
Oh my gosh.
Like
that's such a good question.
Donald Trump and stuff like that. Like they give you probably like the Pizza Pops, like pretty free reign. Any product, which one would you pick? And I'm not trying to take over as the host here, but I just gotta know. Know.
I'm gonna say, just because I wanted them to respond to me and they didn't, Crayola.
Ooh.
Like, I had some beef with Crayola because I couldn't find Crayola brand chalk anywhere, and it's my favorite. And yes, I'm 22 years old and still use sidewalk chalk. Like,
she almost said play with chalk.
I don't play with it. I use it. It's a tool.
You almost said it.
I didn't say it.
Sounds like a Freudian slip.
I'm an artist. I would love to run the social media for Crayola in hopes that I just would get a bunch of free art supplies.
Ooh, okay.
And I think I could have a lot of fun with that.
Now, if you had to break it down into colored pencils, crayons, markers,
sidewalk chalk.
Sidewalk chalk. That's
sidewalk chalk. 100%.
All right, Daniel, would you feel like he's holding up his cat? So
I am.
Fisker's cat brand.
Cat food.
No. I was trying to think of something that would be super in line with me, and then I decided to go with something that's completely opposite. I'd love to run social media for Shell, the oil company, because then I'd just sewer them. I'd make it terrible and make nobody buy their product anymore. I'd take that road.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah, impressive. I'm thinking for the little guy here.
That activist heart just rings through.
Absolutely.
We go from well here, Daniel.
We go from Crayola to Shell. Wow.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm a better person.
Both of you, multinational conglomerates. I think we got to do some more work in your education, though.
We'll get there.
Yeah, that's what David's here for.
Exactly.
Oh, great question, Charlie. Do you have an answer that what are you running?
So mine would be for Parker Jotter pens.
Oh.
Have you ever seen these pens?
No, but I love pens.
I feel like you're already running it if you're about to show us.
So the Parker Jotter pen is the
Okay.
world's best pen. I'm holding one up here.
You've heard it here. Yeah, Charlie is currently holding up one of these pens to the screen.
Yeah. So
Looks like
I
a
got
good
a bunch
pen.
of them. They're so great that anytime we have a new person hired in student life, I buy them one of them and I say, like, this is your pen. So I'm gonna get you two. What's your favorite colors? I'll get you one of these.
No way.
Sure. What's your colors?
My favorite color is blue.
Blue.
My favorite color is green.
Okay, blue and green pens. And
Incredible.
the first listener of this to contact me, don't tell your friends I'm doing this. I'll give them one too.
Oh my gosh.
That's
this is the
incredible.
best. Okay.
Yeah, I will get you some pens. I would love to run their social marketing because it is a product I believe in.
Nice.
This
Nice.
is a
Nice.
great
The
pen.
exact opposite of Daniel's answer.
I was going to say, well, all three of us had very different reasons for choosing the companies that we did. Chloe did it out of spite. I did it out of the good of my heart. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, like, which is okay, but it's a product she believes in. Daniel, you are just like
Other way.
subterfuge here.
Mhm.
You're like a modern Batman.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Neath is the product I believe in. So
Yep.
yeah,
That's a good spread.
first listener to send me an email with their favorite color, I'll buy them one as well.
Wow.
incredible.
I am so excited for this. People,
Not
I
tell
hope you're listening right now.
Yeah, this is the classic business student. Sell me this pen.
Oh,
I like that.
yep.
Okay. So
Would-
after that very, very productive and very important discussion about Twitter, our next question that we submitted to Instagram was, what is your new or favorite quarantine hobby? So your hobby that's bringing you some joys, bringing you some wellness.
Okay,
Dan, you
I'll
got a new
start.
hobby?
Oh man, I don't know if I have a specific new hobby. I've picked up a video game that my friend's older brother made a couple of years ago, and I'm replaying through that. Actually, that's a lie. I'm trying to beat this one chapter. It's a rage video game. It's really difficult. It's a puzzle game, but it's also just super difficult in some stages. And they put out the hardest point of it, and I beat it 2 years ago, but I have to come back to it now that there's another episode. So it's been taking up a bunch of my time.
All right. Charlie, you got a new or favorite quarantine hobby that's been keeping you busy?
Let me tell you about it.
Okay.
I am making Lego snow globes.
How does that work?
So I'm taking jars, and this is not because I'm doing stir crazy. It's because I'm trying to teach my my nieces, like something that they can do. I'm taking like used salsa jars, and then you hot glue little pieces to the bottom, and maybe like styrofoam, and you paint it and all this stuff. You make little like snow globe scenes, and then you fill it with water and a little bit of glycerin, some biodegradable glitter. I'm at CMU, got to have the right
Mhm.
glitter.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Top, and then you turn upside down. Now you got a homemade snow globe, and I'm doing it with Lego pieces because
Oh,
my niece and
cute.
nephew love Legos. So you put the Lego pieces in there. Now they got like a Lego Christmas scene or a Lego, like a little house or motorcycle or something like that. This sounds like I am going nuts.
It is a project that my mom does with her kindergarten students. I'm not going to lie.
Woo! Okay, feel better because my nieces and nephews are 4 and 6.
Yeah.
So this
Perfect.
is great, but it is pretty fun.
It sounds super creative.
So I expect to see these from you next week.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I'm
I know
on
you
it.
got
some
homework
cars
now.
sticking around there.
Homework for my own podcast. That's great.
Yeah.
That's it.
Exactly. That happens when you invite me on.
Yeah. I'm getting a
Holy
pen
wow.
out of it. I can't be mad.
Some of the answers that we got were Ashton is watching New Girl, a fantastic television show, but she's also contemplating existentialism.
Contemplating it.
Yeah, she's just contemplating it.
Just think
Specifically because of New Girl?
I don't know if they're connected. I'm
I feel
not
like they
quite
must
sure.
be.
Yeah. A good answer was from Mandy Faith, doing handstands at 2 a.m. I don't know why that time is a good time for handstands, but I haven't tried it. Maybe I will.
sure.
Yep. Miriam has yoga and meditation. That's minus the yoga part because my mom can't do that right now, but she's been doing a lot of meditation. It's been helping her out a lot these days. So
Very nice.
mhm.
Christina Dirksen is on a journey to become one with the kitchen.
Also cycling.
Also cycling, she says, but becoming one with the kitchen.
Amazing.
I don't.
Yeah, Chloe, how about you? Have you got any hobbies?
Oh man, I picked up one of my new favorite hobbies
Oh, I
because
know
I was
this
like,
already.
you know
Can I
what I'm gonna
guess?
say, Dan.
Can I guess? Can I
You want to
tell?
guess? Yeah, give a
Can I
guess.
tell the
Yeah.
folks? So Chloe recently picked up a pom pom maker.
You're
Yep, I
making
got it.
pom poms,
She's
I've
making
been
pom
making
poms.
pom poms.
like
Uh,
a like hooray team pom
No,
pom.
no, like
like
like. Oh, Dan has one. You can't
I
like
do
Charlie.
have
You can
one.
see it, but the listener can't see it.
Oh,
But
Yeah,
it's
I
where you
have
take yarn.
yeah,
like the
balls
ball
of
on a
yarn.
hat.
Yeah, yeah. So you take
Mhm.
yarn, you wrap it around this thing, and you cut, and you make pom poms. I have like over 30 pom poms. I'm not entirely sure what I'm gonna do with them, but I'm gonna find a reason to use them. But for now, it's just a really nice kind of methodical project I can do without too much thinking, but it keeps my hands moving.
Uh-huh.
I've been making pom poms.
That's
Incredible.
amazing.
Hmm. See, some people take up knitting, which makes useful things, but Chloe likes making pom poms.
I'm sure I could tie my pom poms together and make like a sweater or something.
Make a pom pom sweater. I'd wear that. If you make a pom pom sweater, I'll wear it to CMU.
Okay. Sounds like a lot of work, but okay.
Yeah, but it sounds like humiliation for me. So that sounds like a good exchange.
I'd be happy to pin one of your pom poms to one of my hats.
Nice.
Okay. You give me a pen, I give you a pom pom. Trade.
Sounds good to me.
So we have some questions here from our listeners for you specifically, Charlie. So this one's a great one to start off with, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Ashton Reimer comes in with Charles, why did I get grandfathered in as your nemesis? Do I intimidate you?
Yes, first I'll say, of course she intimidates me. Have you met Ashton? She's amazing. Best of the best. And like nemesis are cosmically aligned. I did not choose this. This was the cosmos putting this together. This began because Courtney Cool, senior residence assistant, at one point called me her nemesis, and then she said that she would drain my life force.
That's ominous, man.
In some way, we became nemesis over the last few years. But now, then I had the great idea to hire her onto the student life team this last year, and figure, you can't have your nemesis work very closely with you. So by the transitive cosmic property, it went to Ashton Reimer, one of her friends. It just has worked out very well. So Ashton, I didn't bring this. Talk to Courtney, talk to the cosmos about it. I think having a nemesis sharpens our intellect, makes us better people, as long as we choose to not destroy each other.
Wow.
Because I will not destroy her.
Wow.
Nothing but support.
That was an answer. Wow. I didn't know you had a nemesis.
I didn't know either.
We all learn these things.
All right. So the next question comes from Carrie Miller. And she says, who's your favorite, Rigby or Norman? Don't worry, I won't tell Jocelyn.
Norman, these are my dogs.
Yes.
I will not, I'm not afraid to say that Rigby was my favorite. Rigby was my girl, my old English sheepdog. Tragically, she died of cancer this last February. She was only 5. Norman is a wonderful little rascal. He's my little dude right now, but Rigby was my favorite. Norman has a very special place in my heart, but you can't replace, your first dog. I got her name tattooed on me.
Oh.
So, she was my best friend for a long time. Norman's right up there, but Rigby was my favorite.
Rigby was very special.
She was very special. It's a great question. Thanks, Miller.
And so we've talked a lot about movies and movie watching during quarantine, but Miriam Carpenter asks if you have a specific quarantine show on Netflix.
Oh, of course. I mean, I also have been indulging in a little bit of New Girl here and there, but there is an incredible show that I just finished on Netflix called The Queen's Gambit.
Yes.
Have you seen it?
I haven't, but I really want to. I don't own Netflix, but it's something that I want to see it. I love chess. Anyways, go on.
Yeah, borrow it from a friend, get your parents' login, or get it yourself. You can do it. I believe in you.
Dad, I'll give you my login. You can watch it on my account.
Lit.
The Queen's Gambit, it's excellent. It's about a young woman in the late 50s, early 60s, who becomes like a chess prodigy. She's an orphan living in a girls' home who learns how to play chess from the custodian, and she is a natural at it. And it's about her wrangling with her demons, but also becoming one of the world's best chess players. And it's really just about watching her just like destroy these men in chess, which is pretty amazing. I would highly recommend it. It's really, really great. 7 episodes. Anya Taylor-Joy is the main character. Bill Camp's in it as well. Mariel Heller plays her mom. It's fantastic.
That sounds great. We're going to pop that into our stories, our little recommendation highlight. Yeah.
Or Twin Peaks. That has been my fall watch, rewatching all of the original Twin Peaks and Twin Peaks to Return from just a few years ago.
Getting spooky.
Those are my watches. Yep, getting spooky.
Very nice.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, Charlie, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to end with this very, very sweet question that I think you deserve to hear.
Oh.
And it is from Daisy Bellick. She says, how on earth is Charlie doing such a good job right now? Honestly, he's handling everything so well.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Daisy. I just say the same thing, that we don't get a chance to say this enough, that our students, all of you, have done amazing. This is very different than how we probably wanted to do this year, how we imagined that would be. All of our lives are a little bit changed, and our students are doing amazing. And that's what makes our job so much fun and gives us life. All of you, like, you're making such wise decisions about how you're living and all that, and we just could not be more proud of all of you. And I speak as an administrator, as a student life member, as a friend of many of you, that we cannot be more proud of the way our students have conducted themselves through all of the changes that have happened. So if I'm doing great, it's because the students are doing great, not the other way around. Students are doing amazing, and we are just unbelievably proud of all of you, and cannot wait till we get to be face to face, even if it's in a mask. You know, if it's just eyes and friendly foreheads, being back, seeing each other in person. Again, we can't wait to that, but until then, let's continue to support each other. And all of you students are just doing a wonderful job with that. That's all I have to say.
What a great answer. Yeah, I mean, I think also a lot of respect has to go to you guys, and all the props for doing so well with it as well. I mean, I know that it couldn't be possible without us, but it really couldn't be possible without you guys. So thank you guys.
It is our pleasure to be here and work with all of you students. 100%. Like, everyone has put in tons of work, faculty, staff, and all of you students. And it really is a collaborative effort that we've been able to have such a successful semester. That because our semester has been really successful so far. Even though we've had to transition to online for a time, this has been a really, really great year and been very, very successful. And we're looking to continue to do better every chance we can.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Thank you for joining us. Of course, it was a very entertaining conversation, and I'm looking forward to hearing who gets that pen.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me. If you ever want someone to come and take over as host of your show without permission, feel free to invite me. I'll start asking you strange questions again. I'm happy to come on and talk. Also, like, if you ever want to talk movies, you ever got a movie podcast, please let me come on.
You're our go-to, don't you worry.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
See you.
Thank you, Charlie.